Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Tonight, the 16th Street Theater is proud, or at least in exchange for a sizable deposit, willing to present A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Punchline, featuring 6 of Fairfield's funniest human beings not currently under arrest or heavy sedation. Tonight, Paula Beaudoux, Tom Scorzelli, Jan Hicks, John McCullough, Patricia Huffnagel, and Tyler Smith will present the material that they have been writing, editing, polishing, and in many cases, stealing outright for lo these many weeks, and all in the simple hope of making you laugh. That is what you want, right? You want them to make you laugh. Well, isn't that interesting? I mean, you guys came all the way out here and plunked down $5 to get into a place where they make you do something. I mean, would you go to a restaurant where they make you eat? Excuse me, sir, but you didn't eat your potato. I mean, it might catch on. Instead of fast food, we could have forced food. Sure, why not? But why do we want to laugh anyway? I mean, it's just this weird little stomach contraction, Ha, ha, ha. We can do that ourselves, right? But we pay money to have somebody stand up in front of us and make us do it. It's kind of a long-distance Heimlich maneuver, They do a lot of that over at the forced food restaurant. Oh, sorry, sir, I should have cut that potato in half. But it gets stranger. Because even though we want them to make us laugh, they still have to make us laugh, don't they? The comedian still has to make us laugh. It requires an act of aggression on the part of the comedian. And this shows up in the language that they use to talk about themselves, Yeah, when I hit him with my punchline, I really knocked him dead. I killed him. I tore him apart with my teeth and stomped all over the pieces. Well, all right, most comedians don't use that last line very often. But the fact remains that stand-up comedy is often perceived as a kind of combat experience. And maybe that's why, until recently, doing stand-up was considered to be mainly a guy thing. You didn't see that many women doing stand-up until maybe the 1970s because of that association. Combat and, hey, let's face it, violence and mayhem in general are pretty much guy hobbies, am I right? I mean, if guys could figure out a way of getting jokes into a gun, they would. Take my wife, please. Hey, no more stage fright. No more hecklers. All right, Sergeant, book 'em. Premeditated verbal assault. Soliciting laughter in a public place. You got a permit for that one-liner? Let me digress a minute here. Guys and Guns, okay? No, it's not a Broadway musical. Guys and Guns. Let's talk about Guys and Guns. Virtually every weapon in history was invented by guys. And you may have noticed that almost every one of those weapons has been phallic. I mean, clubs, knives, swords, spears, muskets, cannons, missiles. Hey, that's evolution. But yeah, all invented by guys, all phallic. How many think this is a coincidence? It's as if throughout history, every male member, you'll pardon the expression, every male member of our species spent his whole life worrying that some other guy might have a bigger, more powerful weapon than he has. So he has to come up with something even more potent, because that's what weapons are all about. Getting a date for Saturday night. Well, think about it. I mean, that's why guns are the ultimate phallic symbol, okay? I mean, think for a moment about how the male sexual organs look and work. Mother Divine are, of course, excused from this exercise. Shown less than actual size, some assembly required, your mileage may vary. All right, think about how the male sexual organs look and work, and then think about how guns look and work. What's wrong with this picture? Guys are so sick. They take their favorite thing in the whole world, something they love, honor, cherish, and give pet nicknames to so they'll be on good terms with the main decision maker in their lives. And don't try to deny it. something designed to help create life and use it as a model for something that destroys life. This is not a good idea. I mean, guys, just take out a personal ad or something, all right? That's why it's been so good to see women entering all of the traditionally male fields of endeavor over the last 30 years or so. I mean, electronics, construction, the military, women with guns, let's not go there. Stand-up comedy. Hey, how do I think of these things? Women doing stand-up have set a great example for the guys. We are finally learning that comedy is not about combat. It's about community. It's about sharing our common everyday experiences. It's about sharing our feelings. Good feelings. Feelings about ourselves and each other. Why? I myself am experiencing a good feeling right now. I am feeling love for myself. You know, if we could all just learn to love ourselves, the world would be a better place, don't you think? So let's start right here and right now. I would like everyone in the audience to turn to one another and say, I love myself. Maybe we'll start with something a little easier. Okay, turn to one another and say out loud, I love myself, but I think you really have nice thighs. I'm killing them out here. Yes, well, it seems that some of you are not as yet ready to enter into the feeling of feeling love for yourself, so I would like to share that feeling with you right now so that you too may experience what I am experiencing as the experiencer of this experience that I'm experiencing. So please, ladies and gentlemen, open your hearts and listen. I love me, I'm wild about myself. I love me, my picture's on my shelf. You may not think I look so good, but me thinks I'm just fine. It's grand when I look in my eyes and know that I'm all mine. Oh, I love me, I never leave my sight. I love me, I'm with me day and night. I take me to a quiet place, put my arms around my waist. If me gets fresh, I slap my face. I'm wild about myself. Hey! But enough about me. Let me introduce you to the first of our main performers this evening. And the winner is... Yes. In 1997, Tom Scorzelli was hailed as one of the fastest rising comics in Batavia. He then realized that he had way too much yeast in his diet, and he is now the spokesperson for Metamucil. He has just penned a book titled Floral Arrangements, The Untold Story. In his spare time, he loves teaching taxidermy to preschoolers. He has performed from coast to coast in Jefferson County and has just finished a whirlwind tour of Libertyville Main Street. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of Fairfield's favorites, Tom Scorzelli.
Andy McKenzie. I'm wild about myself. I love that bit. Sounds like a Viagra commercial. Oh well. You know, schizophrenics say the darndest things. No, they don't. Yes, they do. Shut up. No, you shut up. Anyway, I've just been recently diagnosed as having both ADD, attention deficit disorder, and schizophrenia, which basically means I can only keep short conversations with myself. But the greatest thing about being a schizophrenic is you're never alone. I am feeling a little bit depressed lately. I am. Actually, I should say feeling a little depressed. But I realized recently, over the last 25 years, I've spent a lot of time and a lot of money on enlightenment. Various enlightenment techniques and herbs and health clinics, spas, Jyotish, astrology, gemstones, ceremonies, rituals, and not to mention the $20,000 I just paid to put an east entrance on my trailer. And then I read in the Weekly Reader that some lady got enlightened by a cockroach on her foot. Where's the justice in that? You know, with some of the places I've lived, I should have been enlightened years ago. But spirituality is a wonderful thing, isn't it? I feel like I'm growing in love and acceptance and understanding. And I always think the best of people. I do. And when they don't live up to my expectations, then I expect I'll have to shoot them. Speaking of Satan, you know, there's some things I don't understand in this world, really. I don't get science, because we've been doing research on rats for over 50 years now, and we're still not any closer to understanding politicians. There's other things I don't understand. I don't understand how to apply for a bank loan. I just went into the local bank recently, and they turned me down. And all I did was ask a few questions like, now, how much of this do I really have to pay back? Does collecting unemployment constitute steady income? About this application, do you grade on the curve? You know, my astrologer said I'm coming out of a financial slump. But I love a small town. I love Fairfield. I love a small town. And I love going to the movies in a small town. I do. I go over here quite frequently to the Co-ed Theater, and you know what their motto is, don't you? Hey, you've watched the video, now see the movie. Things are funny when they're true. You know, I saw recently that they just released the movie Titanic on video. I think everyone's seen that movie. That's such a sweet movie, really. It's very touching. The story about Jack and Rose, and Jack tells Rose, remember, Rose, you jump, I jump. That's so sweet. But you know, if the Titanic sank today, you could not tell that same story. You know why? Because that you jump, I jump thing just doesn't work in the 90s. It's more like, Rose, you jump, and you know, I got to go ask my therapist if this could be considered a codependent relationship. If it was in the 80s, it'd be more like, Rose, you jump, and what about my needs? 70s, you jump, and you know, Rose, I've been meaning to tell you, I know this is not the best time, but I don't think we should see each other anymore. Huh? No, it's not you. I just think we should not limit ourselves, get out and see other boats or people. Huh? Now, what kind of a question is that? Of course I love you. Keep in touch. One last thing, Rose. Yeah, that red satin dress and those pumps you left in your room, yeah, could I borrow those? Was the 70s. But one favorite time of year for me is springtime. And the reason is that's the time that they play all the old religious movies on TV. Ben-Hur, King of Kings, Ten Commandments, Rosemary's Baby. Maybe not the last one. But they always depict the Romans as persecuting the Christians, every single movie. And really, I think the Romans were given a bad rap. Because I think history will prove itself out that really, they were just trying to help out the homeless. The Roman emperor has just bequeathed that all Christian homeless shall now be able to use Roman facilities. We have a very large facility over here, the Colosseum. Yes, everyone can use free food and lodging for all Christian homeless. Yes, right this way. Right, there's plenty of room for everyone. Please move to the back. Yes, right there. How you doing? Yes. By the way, do you like cats? Doesn't usually get a big laugh, but I like doing that one. But I remember the first movie I saw with my dad, and it made such a deep impression on me. But it was so full of violence and abuse and profanity. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, and I said, "Look, Dad, I'm too young to watch these home movies." Which gives you a little idea what it was like growing up in my household. I'm Italian. I was raised Italian. Both of my parents were Polish. I just didn't have the heart to tell them. Growing up is interesting. Had a lot of fun dating. Dating was always an interesting experience. I remember dating this girl who was really into body piercing. She had so many pins and studs and rings in her, more than my '56 Chevy. And one time she cut herself. I had to take her to the hospital, and the doctor said, "You know, you're going to need stitches." And she said, "Oh, I can't stand the sight of those things." And then she always complained that I never took her anyplace. We never did anything together. So I took her deep sea fishing. Boy, was she upset when I forgot the tackle box. They're not all gems. I love watching the news, I do, because for a comedian, I think it's a great source of material. One news item recently I saw, which was U.S. Postal Service. U.S. Postal Service just announced that they're reevaluating the work environment for the employees because too many of their employees have been flipping out lately, have been going postal, as it seems. And I think reevaluating is the wrong way to look at it because U.S. Postal Service has accomplished what the military has been trying to create for a very long time, the perfect killing machine. Forget the Army, Navy, Marines. We're looking for a few good mailmen. Basic training, who needs it? Just let them lick a few stamps, sort a few letters, and when they flip out, then stick an automatic weapon in their hands and ship them overseas. 2-day air. That way we can reduce our military spending, secure peace, and deliver a few letters along the way. They're the few, the proud, the postal. Another news item, Amtrak. Amtrak just, again, had another derailment outside of Iowa. I don't know how many of you have seen that. And the spokesperson for Amtrak said, "Look, I don't know what the problem is. This has only been our third derailment this month." But I think, personally, I think Amtrak should change their advertising campaign. That's right, they should call it, "Hey, we're Amtrak, and we've gone track-free." That's right, we take derailment to a whole new level. We'll take it to places you've never been before. And for that matter, hey, neither have we. We think tracks are overrated, and we're proud of our track record of not keeping track of our tracks. Besides, who needs them? By cutting out those tracks, we can cut out that costly maintenance, and we can pass that savings right back down the line to you. We're Amtrak, and without the track, we're just Am. Another news item. I just saw in the news, local news this time, that there was a methadone bust in Fairfield. And if you're like me, I was shocked, appalled, really, that this could happen in such a small town like Fairfield. Could you imagine? And to think, all this time, I was driving all the way to Packwood. I'm only kidding. It's not that far of a drive. Another thing I always take notice of, have you ever noticed how the local TV stations never give too much importance to national news, no matter how earth-shattering that news is? It always goes something like, today in Iowa, farmers were thinking about planting early this spring. The 4-H Club is having their annual bake-off sale. And the Ladies' Church Social will be commemorating John Deere. And on the national front, Saddam Hussein has just launched missiles at Washington, D.C. Now back to our live coverage of the 4-H Club bake sale. Our reporter, Hugh Roberts, is standing by. Hugh, what's going on down there? Frank, I'm here at the 4-H Club bake sale, and let me say that I am just astounded by the quality of baked goods this year. I do have one story I want to relate. A fellow was bringing a cake in for his wife and actually tripped and fell to the ground. but did not let go of the cake. Frank, in all my years of broadcasting, let me say I have never experienced such an intense moment as that. Back to you. That's my time. You've been a great audience. Thanks very much.
Tom Scorzelli. Our next entertainer is a woman whose idea of living on the edge is staying up until 10:30 on a weeknight. Or drinking her water with an ice cube. Whose idea of austerity is no room service. She's the author of the nonfiction bestseller, Save the Whale, the Porpoise, the Tuna, and Hold the Mayo. She's currently finishing a book entitled The Fairfield Adventure and Other Oxymorons. She's not writing it, she's just reading it. She holds a brown belt in microwave cooking and a certificate in reheating leftovers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Patricia Huffnagel.
Wow. Good evening. I was actually supposed to be up first tonight, but I was still deciding what to wear. I'm still not sure. Well, because I think the fashion industry has entirely unreasonable expectations of women. Every season, it's something new. With the length of the skirt, it's short, it's long, it's midi, it's culottes. Wear it with boots, high heels, platforms, ankle socks, knee socks, no socks. Forget the skirt, wear pants. Wide pants, flare pants, short pants, leggings, pants with a vest, pants with a jacket, pants with a coat, a long coat, a baggy coat, a tapered coat with a belt, and don't forget the hat. And now for the men. This year, the ties are a little wider. While I'm up here, I have another complaint. The phone companies are driving us crazy. They never stop competing with their frequent flyer miles and their cashback discounts and their 5-cent calling on Sundays. Last week, I got a call from some new company, Louis Long Distance. They offered me an organ transplant. AT&T is my favorite. Every few weeks, they send me money. $50, $60, $75. Last year, they sent me so many bonus checks, they sent me a 1099. This year, I'm pushing for a dental plan and a 401k. Here's my big complaint. What this country needs is an accurate weather forecast, a psychic weather service. At first, my psychic refused to become my personal meteorologist. She finally gave in, but she still feels self-conscious about the maps and the pointer. This summer, I did some camping. This is a source of amusement to some of my friends, just the ones who know me. Well, maybe I'm not so fond of dirt, but I still enjoy the outdoors. I watch the Discovery Channel. I sleep with the window open. And sometimes I eat lunch right on the patio. I agreed to go camping after many long discussions with my boyfriend and after some interviews with some of our friends who go camping. and with the very kind assistance of my attorney, he drew up my camping contract. My contract specifies that I only set up camp within 200 yards of indoor plumbing, and whenever possible, a full-length mirror. And for my water pick, my dehumidifier, and my dustbuster, we bring a small generator or a very long extension cord. My boyfriend has camping with me down to a science. He can pack everything we have into the trunk, and then he installs the bike rack on top of the trunk. And then he secures our bikes together so thoroughly that nothing shakes, spins, turns, rattles, or vibrates. Before he puts the bike rack on, he says, "Do you need anything from the trunk?" And I say, "Do you mean ever?" Basically, whatever we pack into the trunk, we never see again until we get home. So I've just had to learn to keep my camping contract in the glove compartment. Last month, we went camping in Colorado. The Rockies have some of the world's finest scenery. Show me a tall, thundering waterfall. I'll show you some very clean rocks. When you register for a campsite, the park ranger hands you a small yellow pamphlet called About Bears. This instructs you never to socialize with the bears, never to leave food in your tent, and most important, to practice sufficient hygiene so you never smell like a sandwich. In Rocky Mountain National Park, you are legally required to go hiking. They measure the tread on your shoes when you leave. I turned into a darn good hiker. I only dropped my parasol once. And when you're hiking the trails all day, you have to eat power snacks. Snickers is my favorite. I've tried eating those $2 energy bars, and they do make me feel good. There is a surge of happiness when the taste goes away. On the trails, the wildlife is tame until they see you open your lunch bag. Then they get aggressive. The little chipmunks stand on their hind legs and beg. The blue jays will actually attack your food unless they see you eating a power snack. Then you're safe, even from the bears. And speaking of food, I knew it would come to me. We were speaking of food, weren't we? Remember when organic meant that nobody had sprayed your vegetables? Now things have gotten so complicated. I ran across this ad for organic eggs. Our chickens are fed 100% genetically unaltered feed, grown without harmful chemicals. They are allowed to free range on organic land, and they are never fed hormones or antibiotics, except when they have strep throat. They enjoy clean living conditions, weekly aerobics, and a 9-hole golf course. They live an integrated life on a family farm, free from abuse, denial, and codependency. They are not afraid to confront their challenges and express their fears. and they actively endorse the rainforest. Here's my question. Is it ethical to eat those eggs? Or do you just send them to graduate school? First, it was really easy. Then my editor got tough. Now she makes me see the movies first. You know what my boyfriend likes about movies? The credits. The movie isn't over till we see who played second tall man in Police Lineup, and the name of Dustin Hoffman's assistant hairstylist, and the people who tie his shoes, and the executive consultants for Julia Roberts' makeup and lip enhancement. Then comes the soundtrack, the titles of all 15 songs you heard in the movie. 15 songs. Was this a musical? I don't remember any music. Do you remember any music? If there's a dog in the movie, you get to see who trained the dog. And most important, the SPCA certifies that no animals were harmed in the filming of this movie. I find that deeply reassuring, because we just watched 26 men getting the shit beaten out of them. Twelve people were stabbed to death, but no animals were harmed. I don't like scary movies. One time, my boyfriend made me watch Poltergeist. I had nightmares for a week. Did you ever see that movie? Ghosts are flying, skeletons are popping out of their graves, and that poor family had to move out of that lovely suburban neighborhood. My boyfriend doesn't get scared by movies, except one time. I'll tell you the scariest movie he ever saw, The Wedding Singer. Couples were getting engaged, planning receptions, taking vows. He's still having nightmares. I am finally understanding the purpose of being in a relationship, besides mastering the art of miscommunication. A relationship is for learning about yourself. My boyfriend said to me, "You are one of those people who can only think about one thing at a time." I said, "You are so wrong, but let's argue about it later after I finish chewing this piece of gum." All right. I won't use that one next time. My boyfriend never accuses me of being a shallow person, but my beautician does. The truth is, I am deeply philosophical. I think about dying. I think about where I want to be when it happens and what I should wear. And which way I should be facing, because my left side is much more flattering. You can't leave these things to chance, so I am leaving clear instructions. I refuse to spend all of eternity wearing control-top pantyhose. I'd like to thank you for being such a gracious audience. I would also like to thank my assistant hairstylist, my wardrobe consultant, and the people who tie my shoes. And I would also like to point out that during the performance of this routine, no animals were harmed. Good night.
Patricia Huffnagel. Ladies and gentlemen, our next performer holds the rare distinction of having appeared live almost everywhere he's ever been. Please welcome John McCullough.
Thank you. Thank you for your welcome. It's good to see you all tonight. I'm doing the facial hair thing these days. I'm doing the facial hair thing for much the same reason that a dog will lick himself. Because I can. Because I can now. I recently moved off campus, and I worked on volunteer staff on campus for 2 years, and even though I could base the rest of my entire comedy career on my last 2 years, the only thing I'm gonna say is that, because I'm still mad about it, whoever wrote the song "Everything is Beautiful in Its Own Way" did not have the drained MUM ponds in mind. And that's that. But I have a new job now, and I'm working I'm the computer guy at a company in town. And I've worked with computers for a number of years now. And I'm a bit intimidated to make them my career because I have nothing at the end of the day to show for my work. I turn off my computer, it looks exactly the same as it did when I turned it on that morning. And I keep having this dream where I die, and I get up to the pearly gates. St. Peter's sitting there with a laptop. He's going, "And what have you to show for a lifetime on Earth? 6 floppy disks." Oh boy. Well, are these PC? Sorry, we're all Mac up here. Hell is PC. Thanks for stopping by. It's recurring. I don't think working with computers is good for my emotional health because it's sapping my confidence in my own decisions with the way it talks back to me. You know, I go to try to delete something. Delete junk.txt. Really? Delete junk.txt? Yes, really delete junk.txt. Are you sure you want to delete junk.txt? I thought I was sure. I wonder if you've considered all the ramifications of deleting junk.txt. So I go to turn off my computer, because that's the only way I can win an argument with the thing. But you can't just turn off your computer anymore. You know, you used to exit Windows first. So you get that little thing. This will end your Windows session. I didn't know I was having a Windows session. Perhaps we should discuss the separation anxiety problems I've been having with my motherboard. But with Windows 95, the computer is totally in control, and you get things like, "Please wait while your computer shuts down." Oh, you go, computer. Good on ya. I can wait. I'll just sit here and grow my beard. Or there's that other one. It is now safe to turn off your computer. When was it dangerous? Have I been at risk all day? Should I start wearing a condom to work? I'm nostalgic for the old days, the good old computers they used to have on Buck Rogers and Wonder Woman, you know? when it wasn't megahertz or memory that could determine a computer's power, but rather how many lights blinked on and off at you when it talked. And when all robots went beady beady before they said anything. Beady beady, Buck, are you sure you want to delete junk.txt? Computers these days, they get you into trouble. I broke my neighbor's Windows 95 playing virtual baseball. He was mad, too. But it's true. Computers, they drive you nuts. Even the names of the products, they just piss me off because they're so pompous and misleading. You get names like Word Perfect, Microsoft Excel, Claris Works, FileMaker Pro. The only correctly named computer program is the programming language C++. Because that's exactly what I got on my computer science final exam. I went up after class and tried to argue for a B minus minus. The professor said it shouldn't have taken me 15 minutes to figure out how to turn the monitor on. Was it my fault there was no remote? But then you have the names of the computer itself, the technical computer terminology, which are almost as male as a gun. You know, Andy was out here earlier. He said it's all about combat and penis size. So you get names like RAM, megahertz, hard drive, SCSI port. Computers are a macho thing for us guys, and it's very embarrassing for us when we have to call up one of those technical support lines, when we have trouble with performance. Hi, I'm at work, and my floppy drive ejects my disks prematurely. The woman tech on the other end of the line is going, yes, this happens to a lot of users the first time they interface. So that's what I get paid for, personal humiliation. I'm computer guy at Genetic ID, the company in town that tests food for genetically modified material. We're in the DNA frisking business. And it's different for me. I'm in the middle of this whole genetic engineering issue now, and it's been hard for me to get really worried about genetic engineering. My logic was that if my family cookouts didn't kill me, I can survive anything. I have fond memories of my father over by the grill, gently marinating our burgers in lighter fluid. But even I, with all my passionate apathy, was ready to climb out of the gene pool when I heard that humans had cloned a sheep. I don't know if you remember this. It was a few years ago. I was just spellbound. I mean, who was the genius scientist who looked at the modern planetary crisis and said, I think I'll clone a sheep today. That'll fix everything. Save the world from the huge sheep shortage that is threatening life as we know it. Argyle all around. I just have to wonder why a sheep. You know, they could have cloned a bald eagle, a humpback whale, even a cocker spaniel, but a sheep? Sheep are so dumb they don't even have a singular form of their name. So women, count the planet as lucky that God did not give men the uterus. Because this is what happens when males start messing around with the gestation process. Sheep everywhere. But ultimately, though, I think genetic engineering is a male-run industry. Because apart from athlete's foot fungi, we men can't really grow anything naturally. We can't even cook. We don't want to cook, but we love food. And what I think Mothers for Natural Law need to understand is that it's the grand dream of all these genetic engineering guys to be able to produce nachos with cheese in the lab. Set up a big screen TV, these guys would never have to go home. A nachos with cheese bush is something that a male could really feel proud of. And the possibilities are endless. Here at Monsanto, we're changing the way bachelors look at eating alone. Over here, we have our brand new corn dog tree. It fits over in the corner of your apartment right next to the beer nut fern. And if you order right now, we'll throw in this Budweiser cactus absolutely free. It's astounding. Growing things in general is getting more complicated these days. In the lab, it's even on the farm, you have all these different types of agriculture. You have sustainable agriculture, which is agriculture you can put up with. And that's opposed to unbearable agriculture, which are farms that grow Swiss chard. I'm not a huge chard fan. I don't think it should count as food. But chard is one of those high-maintenance vegetables that mothers have to work overtime to convince their kids to eat, you know. But what will mom say 20, 30 years from now? I mean, that's scary to think about. Now, Bobby, if you don't eat your vegetables, your tail won't grow out nice and strong like your father's. Oh, don't you worry. Your genitals will start migrating to your armpits any day now. And you'll look just like the rest of your friends. Just a late bloomer, that's all. Who knows what these biotech companies are doing to us? It's difficult to fight back, but it is possible. I'm blackmailing the owner of Monsanto. I've just found out his latest business venture. They're going to open a brand new line of restaurants, calling them, I Can't Believe It's Not Food. It's top of the line cuisine, hot off the Bunsen burner. You go in there, you can start off with the appetizer, the chromosome quality assortment. You follow that with a club sandwich with thinly spliced turkey, with a side order of E. coli slaw. They have bagels with growth hormone cheese, and even a few Chinese selections, including egg foo pigtail. To top it all off, you can have their specialty, DNA surprise, the dessert that keeps on giving. They're going all out. They're getting Julie Andrews for their commercials. To spice up your mitosis with something quite ferocious, we advise small doses. I can't believe it's not food. GE, we bring good things to life. Thank you very much. I'm John McCullough.
John McCullough. Pamela Beaudubius, alias Paula Beaudou, was a bouncer at the Bombs Away trailer court, where she resided before she came to Fairfield. She was quite a bit heavier and meaner in those days. She also had a thriving business in the women's self-defense weaponry trade, selling blow darts to angry housewives with philandering menfolk. Her life was well above average until that unfortunate incident at the Bombs Away club trailer, which caused Pamela to flee the scene and go underground for 20 years. She left Waxahachie, Texas behind, left the Bombs Away trailer court behind, and left hundreds of philandering scuzzballs with dart marks on their behinds. After 20 years, the police finally pinned it on someone else, and now Paula can walk freely, hold her head high, and tell her real story. And here she is, Paula Beaudou.
Hello. Thank you, Andy, for that lovely introduction. Actually, I gave him that bogus story about Paula Beaudou to spice it up a little bit because, after all, what can you really say about the woman? she's a really nice person. She always does what's expected of her. She means well. She's nice. Nice, 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 nice. Well, my name is Fifi, and I do as I damn well please. And I don't mean that in a profane way. I just mean it. For example, I recently indulged myself in a double-dip weekend of New Age workshops. Even though my boyfriend, Ronnie Bob, gave me a hard time about it. The first one was the Enneagram workshop, which categorizes everyone you know into personality types 1 through 9. I really felt that I needed one more way to label the dysfunctional tendencies of my friends and family. And that includes, of course, Ronnie Bob. The other workshop that I attended was the tapping workshop. You know, where you tap, tap, tap your troubles away. Based on what I learned there, I'd like to lead us in a little tapping exercise right now to help us to open our hearts and minds to the experience of laughter and bliss. Now tap where I tap and repeat after me. It's safe to be me and to laugh like a hyena. It's safe to be me to laugh like a hyena. It's safe to be me to laugh like a hyena. I am queen of the universe and my lips are like rubies. Actually, that's a personal one that I do to make myself feel good. Oh, what the hell, let's do it anyway. I'm queen of the universe and my lips are like rubies. I'm queen of the universe and my lips are like rubies. I am queen of the universe and my lips are like rubies. Yes, yes, yes. Oh. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel marvelous. Thank you. You know, when Fifi taps her PowerPoints, it's Ronnie Bob bar the door. You know, I have to be quite careful about that. You know why, big boy? Because this body is a velvet vortex of volcanic vibrations, a bodacious abode of eternally amorous emanations. And I'm talking even after death, mister. You see, when I drop this body, I plan to be burned up and made into a really great stick of incense. It'll be called Fumed Fifi. Ronnie Bob's mother wants to call it Fifi on a stick. Whatever. And whoever gets a whiff of it, of my amorous afterglow, will feel strangely moved to wear a feather boa and read New Age erotica. Which I just happen to have some with me if you care to indulge. This is my favorite novel, my current favorite novel. It's called Take Me Now, the Seminar's Over. Adriana, Brianna, Tiffany, Shanananda knew she was different. But she didn't know how different until she met Durf. All she ever wanted was a sensitive, muscular, superachieving Enneagram Type 3 with a strong, turgid 6-line and a kinky 4-wing. A man who could look into her tinted disposable gas-permeable contact lenses in emerald green and cry real tears of well-developed John Grafe brand feminine-sided empathy while making big global bucks in the exploitative third world market. That's all she wanted. Until she met Durf. One morning, too many weeks since her last self-esteem seminar, she woke up feeling so despondent, she couldn't even get excited about her 10 o'clock lymph drainage session. She needed a new perspective, so she put on her micro-hole glasses to watch the Titanic video she got as a perk for changing back to Sprint. Again. It didn't help, seeing all those classic clothes ruined in salt water. Fight fire with fire, she thought, reaching for her wandering Wilderwoman Outfitters catalog. The first page worked its magic. This sultry, strappy, redefined classic jumpsuit in 45% lyocell, 25% Bemberg, 30% Cordura Polartec microfiber fleece, trimmed with 3M Scotchlite reflective piping, sports a Gore-Tex besom pocket with the all-important gusseted Cool Max Lycra crotch, allowing maximum breathability. Because naturalness is what the wandering wilderwoman Willie wants. This was making her feel rather tingly. Like perhaps having a frothy, energetic cellular attunement. When the doorbell rang, she threw on her 100% tencel kimono, perfectly and adorably designed for those spontaneously intimate occasions when nothing else will do except... Well, anyway, she went to the door. Looking through the peephole, she saw Durf with his dirty mechanic's overalls unzipped at the top, exposing a large, bulging Adam's apple like nobody's apple she'd ever seen. It was bobbing up and down, finally coming to rest in a steamy mass of jet black chest hair. This disturbed and confused her senses, since the hair on his head was strawberry blonde. Oh well, strict color coordination is out this year anyway. And besides, hers didn't match either. She opened the door, then impulsively opened her soft paisley pastel kimono with satin trim and matching floral sash, exposing her nude and recently esogetically acutapped body. With a seductive smile and a husky voice, she intoned, "Darf, darling, Darf, darling. You're just in time for a tantric bubble bath cantillation. And if you're a good boy, some moon matrix motion therapy after that." Durf fainted. Strong and virile though he was. This incredibly sensitive response on his part made Adriana breathe. He crawled through the doorway on his knees, muttering, "You be Vanna White this time, and I'll be Ralph Swallets, your door-to-door plunger salesman." "Durf, darling, wouldn't you be more comfy if you took off your manly-smelling work clothes?" Durf didn't bother to get up, tearing at his overalls in a writhing frenzy on the floor, leaving a remarkable Pennzoil design on her white wool rug. Which she just got as a perk from AT&T for switching back. Again. By this time, Durf had a huge, erectifiable need for a colloidal releasement. Excuse me. I deeply and profoundly accept myself as a divine hormonal extravaganza. Well, I don't know about you, but it was good for me.
All about you. You know, Fairfield prides itself on being an international community. But I think that's no longer enough. We need to expand our boundaries and extend a warm welcome to visiting members of the interplanetary community as well. Which, of course, brings us to Tyler Smith. Ask anyone who knows him, and they'll tell you, not from this planet. His achievements include watching television and learning to spell potato. There was a special scholarship program there. In high school, he was voted most likely to get a job at Burger King. His goals include both sleep and becoming a master of Gilligan's Island trivia. He's got the burning drive of a sea slug. He's written 2 Cheers episodes. He's head of the Village People fan club. Please welcome everyone's favorite loser, the funny, the talented, Tyler Smith.
Thank you, Andy, for those kind words. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. On my way over here, I ran into the Marlboro Man, and he has a message for all of you. Don't smoke! I hate obscene phone callers. Yesterday at 2 o'clock in the morning, I got an obscene phone call. And I was so mad at the guy, I didn't even get his credit card number. My wife convinced me to have kids with just 3 words. I'm feeling horny. I hate ditto heads. I'd like you to meet a ditto head friend of mine. His name's Harold the Hanky. Hello, everybody. I'm Harold the Hanky, and I'm a ditto head. Ditto rush, ditto, ditto. Well, Harold, why are you a ditto head? Because I love Rush Limbaugh. Well, why do you love him? I love him. I love him. I love him because I have no brain cells. No brain cells. No brain cells. I am a ditto head. A ditto head. A ditto head. And whatever he says, I'll swallow. I'll swallow. I'll swallow. I will follow him wherever he will go. There is no argument too steep or the concept too creepy to keep me away. I will always stay. I love him. I love him. I love him because I have no brain cells. No brain cells. No brain cells. I am a ditto head. A ditto head. A ditto head. Wherever he says, I'll swallow. I'll swallow. I'll swallow. Harold, it looks like you're going to be in the laundry hamper for a very long time, my friend. My best friend died recently, but I'm okay with it. The grand jury said it was self-defense. I would apologize, but being self-righteous means never having to say you're sorry. Boy, did I pick the wrong week to give up lithium. At an early age, I wisely invested in alcoholism. And speaking of alcoholism, that reminds me of my favorite Irish poem, which I'd like to do for you right now. As my bonny lass comes to see me, my lips are quivering, I feel so free. Kill the English! Kill them all! Wipe them out! Wipe them off the face of the earth! I'm so bloody mad at them, I don't even care that this doesn't even rhyme! Kill the English! And may God bless us all. I tell you, the more education I get, the more I realize ignorance is bliss. Now, thanks to genetic engineering, the food that we eat is as scrambled as a hillbilly family reunion. I joined the Army back in 1987. And I remember I was in basic training, and there I was, in this foxhole that I was digging. It was raining, I had water up to my armpits. And I look over at my buddy and I said to him, well, I guess this is all I can be. I tell you, anymore our governments become so corrupt that we can buy our politicians' votes on the Home Shopping Network. And Beverly Hills is so rich that the kids have plastic surgeon trading cards. Yeah, Tom was mentioning the Titanic earlier, but I don't know if any of you know this, but the Titanic was actually done as a musical. So I'd like to do for you my version of the Titanic as a musical, the way I would have done it. You know, they should have had country songs in there like Stand By Your Man. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman, but when you're on the Titanic, that's not one of them. Tell your man that you love him and that you're thinking of him, and then get to your lifeboat as fast as you can. But don't stand by your man. Don't stand by your man. You don't even want to be near him. Get to that lifeboat as fast as you can. Don't stand by your man. Suspicion. Do 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 do. Woo. Do 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 do. Even though you've chosen to give up your seat on the lifeboat to die with me, woo, I'm still not certain that you wouldn't rather die with someone else. Suspicion, woe is my heart. Suspicion keeps us apart. Suspicion, is there no limit to my insecurity? Thank you. Leonardo DiCaprio's #1 pickup line. Hi, I'm Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. Plot lines in a nutshell. I'd like to do for you some of my versions of plot lines in a nutshell. Silence of the Lambs. Girl meets cannibal. Cannibal escapes. Cannibal eats warden. Girl picks up the check. Roll credits. Jurassic Park. Dinosaur eats lawyer. I know it's not much, but it's a start. Roll credits. Godfather. Bang, 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 bang. Roll credits. Rocky IV. By this point, who gives a damn? Roll credits! Rocky V. Boy, in Hollywood, you just can't keep a bad idea down. Roll credits. Thank you, I'm Tyler Smith. Good night. Let's hear it for Andy McKenzie, everybody.
Tyler Smith. I don't know why he has to go around being so tall all the time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very exciting moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we beam you now live to the Grammy Awards in Hollywood, California. The Grammy Award for 1998's top recording artist goes to, drum roll please, the envelope. The top recording artist for 1998, Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, wow. Like, this is so unexpected. Well, I do have this little speech prepared. You know, other Grammy winners think they're arrangers, they're producers, various hangers-on, and people they slept with. I would just like to thank a few very special people from my past. I'd like to thank my mommy and daddy because they set the pattern for all the relationships in my life. When I was very small, they came to me and they said, "Monica, you're a lovely girl, but we just want to be friends." And I'd like to thank my music teacher, Dr. Poff, because he kept telling me all the time, "Monica, with your talent, you could go anywhere except into music." And he pointed me in the direction of a more practical life skill and gave me these. My matching set. Yeah, without his advice, I might have resorted to relying on talent and ability. Where would I be then? So, Dr. Poff, wherever you are, may your little piccolo rot in hell, but with my undying gratitude. But I know what you're waiting for. You want to hear me talk about Bill Clinton, don't you? Well, I couldn't, I wouldn't, I won't let you down. People say that Bill Clinton is doing really well these days in foreign affairs. Ooh, that makes me so jealous. Furthermore, I love this country so much that I don't believe in foreign affairs. I think if you're gonna have an affair, have it right here in America. But you know, my recording career has had such an impact on this country that I plan to branch out next year and actually record some songs. But if that doesn't work out, I may become a reporter and interview the president with typical hard-hitting questions like, Mr. President, if you could be any animal you wanted, which rodent would you pick? A vampire bat? I bit her neck, but I didn't didn't impale. But you know, this has been such a weird year for me. But I think that something good will come out of it because I'm getting really famous. Yes. I'm getting so famous. I was at lunch today and I heard somebody use my name in a joke. It was, what do you get when you cross Monica Lewinsky with Richard Nixon? A political embarrassment that goes, I am not a slut. But I think it's actually smarter not to cross me because look what happened to Bill. Well, thanks for the Grammy, but just remember, it's not over till the fat lady. Well, you know what I'm famous for. I'm not really blonde either. No. God didn't give me blonde hair. But these days, anyone with $6.95 can have it. And now my life is wildly different. Because when you go for this blonde look, you're kind of pretty much going for a look that says, hey, assume I'm stupid. Because when I was brunette, guys were always coming up to me and saying things like, pardon me, I couldn't take my eyes off your enormous IQ. Just once again, I'd love a man to come up to me in a public place and say, hello, Mensa goddess. What do you say we sneak off somewhere and discuss thoughts and concepts on a wide range of really smart people stuff? Okay. Yes, I chose to be blonde. I went to my hairdresser and I said, give me a look that says, duh. A look that says, I'm sleeping with your husband. If you want all that, I highly recommend Clairol's Lack of Credibility, number 104. It's you, only dumber. Hey, let's go to the beach. They're having a Blonde of the Month contest. Because I'm blonde, I don't have to think. I talk like a baby and I don't pay for drinks. Cause I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. I never learned to read, I never learned to cook. Why should I bother when I look like I look? Cause I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know lots of people are smarter than me, but this is my philosophy. So what? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. Now they say you make it with talent and ambition. Well, I got a TV show and this was my audition. Oh, let's see, what was it? Oh, don't tell me. Oh, wait, I know. Duck Magnum Duck. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. Such a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm very blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just want to say that being chosen this month's Miss October is like a compliment that I will remember for as long as I can. I'm a freshman in my 4th year at UCLA, but my goal is to become a veterinarian because I love children. Blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. So very blonde, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a blonde, B-L-O, I don't know.
Jan Hicks. Come on out, folks. Tom Scorzelli. Patricia Hufnagel. Paula Beaudoux. Jan Hicks. John McCullough. Tyler Smith. We want to thank Emo for the sound.
Andy McKinsey!
I want to thank you all for coming tonight. Opening next week, right here at the 16th Street Theater, The Importance of Being Earnest, featuring none other than John McCullough. So do come for that. And opening November 21st, the sequel to Horizontal program, Horizontal Dance Party. Good night.